The leaders of France, Germany, and Italy visited Kyiv on Thursday in a show of European support for Ukraine, as Russia presses its brutal offensive in the east of the country. French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi arrived in the Ukrainian capital by train from Poland, according to an AFP reporter traveling with them. Asked by a journalist why he had come to Ukraine, Macron said, for a message of European unity. Scholz told German Daily Bild that they want to show not only solidarity, but also assure that the help that we're organizing, financial, humanitarian, but also, when it comes to weapons, will continue. And that we will continue it as long as it is necessary for Ukraine's fight against Moscow, he said. It is the first time that the leaders of the three European Union countries have visited Kyiv since Russia's February 24 invasion. They are due to meet Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, at a time when Kyiv is pushing to be given official candidate status to join the EU. France, which holds the rotating presidency of the EU until the end of this month, Germany and Italy view Ukraine's aspirations to join the bloc favorably. But officials and leaders in the bloc caution that, even with candidacy status, membership could take years or even decades. Despite reservations among some member states, EU leaders are expected to approve Ukraine's candidate status, though with strict conditions attached. Other leading figures to have visited Ukraine since the start of the war include British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and UN Chief Antonio Guterres. Ukraine is also expected to reiterate its pleas for allies to send more weapons, with officials saying only a fraction of what they have asked for has so far been delivered. On Wednesday, U.S. President Joe Biden announced $1 billion worth of new arms for Ukrainian forces. The new package features howitzers, ammunition, anti-ship missile systems, and additional rockets for new artillery systems that Ukraine will soon put in the field. Biden said that he told Zelensky in a phone call Wednesday that the United States will stand by Ukraine as it defends its democracy and support its sovereignty and territorial integrity in the face of unprovoked Russian aggression. The bravery, resilience, and determination of the Ukrainian people continues to inspire the world. Fighting in eastern Ukraine is focused on the industrial city of Severodonetsk, and the Russians appear close to consolidating control after weeks of intense battles. Sergei Gaidai, the governor of the Lugansk region, which includes the city, said Thursday around 10,000 civilians remained trapped in the city, out of a pre-war population of some 100,000. Kyiv's army is holding back the enemy as much as possible, he said on Telegram. For almost 4 months they have dreamt of controlling Severodonetsk, and they do not count the victims. Moscow's forces have destroyed the 3 bridges spanning a river between the city and Lysychansk. Hundreds of civilians are trapped in a Severodonetsk chemical plant, which is under constant bombardment, according to Ukrainian authorities. Russia said Ukrainian authorities had on Wednesday prevented an attempt at evacuating them. From an elevated position in Lysychansk, an AFP team saw black smoke rising from the chemical factory in Severodonetsk and another area in the city. The Ukrainian military was using the high ground to exchange fire with Russian forces across the river. "It's scary, very scary," 83-year-old Lysychansk pensioner Valentina said. "Why can't they agree at last? For God's sake, just shake hands." Elsewhere, Russia launched a missile strike in Ukraine's northeast Sumy region, killing 4 people and injuring 6 others, Governor Dmytro Zhyvytysky said on Telegram. In Brussels Wednesday, Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov and other officials met with some 50 countries of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group at NATO headquarters asking for a surge in weapons and ammunition. Ukraine is really in a very critical situation and therefore, it's an urgent need to step up, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg told journalists. Russian President Vladimir Putin meanwhile underscored that he was not as isolated internationally as his foes would wish with a call with China's leader Xi Jinping, their second reported call since Russia attacked Ukraine. China has refused to condemn Moscow's invasion of Ukraine and has been accused of providing diplomatic cover for Russia by criticizing Western sanctions and arms sales to Kyiv. The United Nations warned a hunger crisis that has been worsened by the war in Ukraine, traditionally a breadbasket to the world, could swell already record global displacement numbers. Addressing the food insecurity crisis is of paramount importance to prevent a larger number of people moving, the United Nations refugee chief Filippo Grandi told reporters. Iranian authorities have arrested a left-wing activist suspected of meeting two French nationals detained since May on suspicion of fomenting labor unrest in the sanctions-hit country, state media reported Thursday. The arrests have come as Iran battles a wave of labor unrest fueled by the worsening economy and prospects for an easing of U.S. sanctions have diminished. An activist of the Marxist left whose mission was to incite sedition and turmoil among the working class was arrested as he prepared to flee the country, state television said. In a meeting ahead of International Labor Day, May 1, the detainee coordinated his activities with two French spies. The broadcaster did not identify the activist nor specify the date of his arrest. It said he had been picked up by intelligence agents in West Azerbaijan province, which borders Turkey. Iran has been holding French teachers' union official Cécile Kohler and her partner Jacques Paris since May 7 on suspicion of entering the country to sow chaos and destabilize society. State television has aired footage of the couple from the moment they set foot in Iran on April 28. French trade union officials have said the couple were on holiday in Iran over the Easter school break. The French government has condemned their arrest as baseless and demanded their immediate release. Iran's schools have been hit by months of industrial action by teachers, with regular protests outside education ministry offices across the country. On Wednesday, a group of independent UN rights experts expressed alarm over what they called a violent crackdown on teachers and wider civil society in Iran. The experts, who are appointed by the UN but do not speak on its behalf, alleged that more than 80 teachers had been arrested or summoned by the authorities in the Islamic Republic. They also alleged 5 people had been killed in wider protests since the start of May, due to excessive use of force by security forces. Iran's economy has been reeling under punishing U.S. sanctions imposed since 2018, when then-President Donald Trump abandoned a nuclear deal between Iran and major powers. Talks on reviving the agreement with the United States again a party have stalled since March in a blow to hopes of a boost to the economy from an easing of U.S. sanctions. Iran announced a series of measures to tackle the worsening economy in May, including changes to a subsidy system and increases in the prices of staple goods. Hundreds protested in Iranian cities, including in Tehran province, state news agency IRNA reported.